Hello, good morning, and welcome to Sunrise Daily. It's June 11. Tomorrow is that famous date. Amaya Makile, welcome to the show.
Good morning and welcome. Democracy Day tomorrow. A lot of things planned. A lot of things are going to happen. We hear that there's a protest planned someplace in Lagos. We'll be looking forward to what happens there. And also, it's an opportunity, really, Ayo, for us to really look back and think about what it is that this day represents and how our democracy has fared, especially in our climate, Ayo.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of that that's going to be happening tomorrow. 32 years after that famous date. How have we fared so far? I guess we'll find time to have conversations around those. In the meantime, welcome to your daily dose of sunshine. Yes, it's my turn to say it this morning. Well, straight away, let's take a short break. When we return, we'll get to with the story begins immediately after this segment. Just stay with us. Let's hobnob this morning around some trending stories, current affairs in our country with Sam Kagbo, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He joins us virtually. Good morning and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
All right. Now, let's begin with an international story where we just saw this story that the President of the United States says he's considering invoking the 1807 Insurrection Act due to the situation in Los Angeles. In the first place, what do you make of that? What does all of that imply?
It's a desire of the president to deploy the military and federalize the National Guard to address what he characterized as a rebellious situation, because that's what the act anticipates. There is an ongoing, I think there is even a state, Los Angeles has even sued, claiming that the situation has not ripened to authorize the president to deploy National Guard and bypass the state legislature or the governor, because the act specifically prescribed that for you to deploy the National Guard, you would have had to have a call for that, either by a state assembly or by the governor. And in some instances where you have an exception is when you are to enforce a federal law. But in this situation, what started as a peaceful protest within a county in Los Angeles, the immediate and swift reaction of President Trump is to deploy about 700 National Guard to the situation. And the position of the governor of the state is that that particular act aggravated the situation and provoked the reaction of the protesters, because to them, the situation was already under control and there was no need at all. And let's put it this way, the act, like it said, I think it was passed into law by Jefferson way back in 1807, about March 1807, and it has been rarely used. All presidents have been very cautious because of its implication. Yes, it was frequently used during the Civil War era and during the Civil Rights era. In recent times, as is the last time it was used, it was in 1992 in response to the riots after the killing of King. And thereafter, the state had always been very cautious and had never really contemplated using the National Guard, because when you deploy the National Guard, what that one simply means is that to some extent, you are suspending fundamental rights. And the right to protest is a fundamental right. It's a right given by the American Constitution to the American citizens. For you to respond so swiftly and in the manner that you deploy, I think some of the state legislatures who had spoken about this, they said, President Trump is acting the script, is simulating the situation to justify his stance that his government is one of a no-nonsense one and is one of law and order.
One wonders, Mr. Kagbo, you know, how this will end, because on the one hand, that is not an emergency declaration, which means the governor is still in office. So again, that's more than exactly. That's more than 200 years. It's more than 200-year-old law now being enforced, and here we are. Let's come back home very quickly. And something that's taken a while as well is this story about Chibok. The survivors still seem to be waiting for justice. I'm just wondering, how long does it have to take? Because it'll look like since 2014, more than 10 years now, there is no closure for a good number of these people.
I like the way you put it. How long does it really have to take for a citizen to enjoy the protection and attention of the government? It is not pleasant to say that what we here as a nation is known for is that we only attend to situations that hit the limelight or the headlines. The moment things are taken off the banner or off the headlines, we forget about it. But government has to be deliberate and consistent and persistent in its effort and duty to the citizenry. You know, the Chibok girls, not just the Chibok girls, those who have suffered under Boko Haram and banditry in general, they need the support of the state because they have suffered, and the only way they can feel back as part and parcel of the national spirit is the attention they get from the state. And I'm hopeful that very soon we have a ministry that is seriously attending to these issues, because it is not right that you just dump them out there and wait for another limelight. Now that you are bringing it back to the fore, it would jog them up, and you would see some frenzy. But thereafter, the moment you forget about it, they are forgotten. People are all over IDP camps. All of these ones are people are Nigerians who require and deserving of the state protection and the state succor.
Well, there are many comments that have gone ahead, one of which is from the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar saying, you know, that this ought to have been nipped in the bud within the first 6 months of any government. But hey, that's where we are today. I guess we'll see how all of that plays out. In about 30 seconds to 1 minute, talk to us about your take on the mecca of sorts that the president's Lagos residence became in the wake of this his last trip to Lagos.
Well, I would think that for the politician, the best bride in town today is President Tinubu, and I think they are working on the proposition that that's the man to beat in the 2027 election, and that if you want to be part of the winning team in 2027, you have to be on his side. You know, we do not have a very strong, purposeful, and effective, proactive opposition. People cannot really live outside government and government patronage. They cannot live outside the spoils they get from government. And when after 1 2 years they are out of government, it's like a fish out of water. They try by all means to go back into the thick and thin of it. That is what is happening at that elite level. They are going back to realign with President Tinubu, believing that, oh, President Tinubu has a magic wand for winning the election. I think the myth that Tinubu has been able to sell and which they have bought is that if he can win an election when he was out of government and in spite of all the opposition and the challenges that they had to surmount, it may be impossible for you to defeat him during the election. But to me, that by itself is self-defeating, because in politics, you cannot speak in absolute terms and you cannot really have a very definite mathematical measurement. Anything can happen. If this opposition is serious, they put their heart together, they can put in a very formidable force. Because at the end of the day, that's politics at the elite level. What about down there? Nobody has given us any scientific measurement or proposition as to what the people feel and what the people would do on election day. So to me, it's a shame anyway. But that's who we are. People. Yes,
well, Mr. Kagu, you said something at the beginning, talking about, the fact that we don't have a virile opposition. Now, what does that
That's what it
depict?
is.
What does that mean? What does that imply? What does that connote for the entire democratic experience of our people?
Yeah, it's the opportunistic nature of the political class. These are pampered people.
So essentially, my apologies. So essentially, you're saying that
yes,
there is nothing we can do about it. We are at the mercy of the political class that we have, and there is absolutely nothing we can do about it.
Well, we as a people, when pushed to the wall, we can do something about it. But I think in order to forestall the wrath of the people, that's why you have the politicians coming in as a buffer. Mind you, politics in itself is a profession, and the Constitution has been very generous to politicians. It has given them the opportunity and power to constitute the government of the day and the personnel of governance. So it's a profession, it's a career that not all of us can go into. But mind you, while they do their own game, we have our votes. And the votes, to me, how do we galvanize it? Yes, we do not have that collective spirit or mechanism for collectivizing the aspiration of the people outside the frail mechanism of politics and political parties. Okay. If we had developed like Western countries, whereby you are born into a political party with its own ideology and its own tactics, we may have been able to have a thought force or realign ourselves outside the weak political parties and perhaps seize back government and bring it back to the people.
Okay. All right. We have to thank you very much for your time this morning. I'm looking forward to a time where we'll have a more extended conversation with you on the issues raised so far. Sam Kagbo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, it would seem that the race to 2027 has begun in earnest. That's part of our conversation when we return from this break.
Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Of course, we are looking at some of the major issues that have made conversations in the past. I know this particular conversation has been on for years, and it evolves every time something new happens. The last time we heard something major about this story was when the PDP stakeholders had a meeting with the FCT Minister, Wike, right here in the nation's capital, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. And they've made their position clear on what it is they need to be able to support the PDP come the 2027 general elections. And a lot of things around the People's Democratic Party and what their plans are with this coalition Atiku Abubakar is going on. Should he run? Shouldn't he run? Does he have the right to? Should he be zoned? And that zoning issue will be the crux of our conversation this morning. Joining us for that conversation is the Director of Support Groups for the PDP presidential campaign. Join us live here in our Abuja studios, Mr. Oladimeji Fabi. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Kayla. I'm happy to see you again.
Happy to see you as well.
Yes.
All right. So let's start with that meeting that Wike had with PDP stakeholders. Two things. Samayan remains, some say he never left, remains National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. And then the second thing that was discussed was the zoning. It has to be zoned to the south. This was the same conversation that happened in 2023. and now they've come out and made their stand known. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, thank you very much. First and foremost, let me say that the gathering really didn't offer any solution to any help or solution to Nigeria's problem or the party problem. It doesn't even offer anything that can actually advance the party. Not talk of the country. I was surprised to see them instead of. I think what they've largely done was to entertain us with their normal comedy show that they've been doing in the past, and it's a continuation of that, as far as I'm concerned. And then I had expected that they would have discussed, actually be preparing for something that would better the future of the party. But rather, as if it was a student union contest, you see them discussing party register, who holds the real title of national secretary, and all that. And they came up with all these conditions. I don't think it's in their place to give conditions. They're members of the party, and I see gathering of friends of Wike doing that. Let me tell you something that is very sacrosanct. All of this are script to further weaken and kill the party, the PDP. And I give it to them. If they succeed, fine. But Nigeria will survive.
How is this a scheme?
Mr.
Fabi, how is this a scheme to weaken the party?
Okay.
They are saying that you are, well, not you, but that the party itself is breaking its own constitution.
That
the party has agreed. You have an internal agreement. And of course, you're up against a southern candidate. You should be able to adhere to what your rules are. At least that's what the Wike side is saying. And you're saying that you're not, the party itself is not adhering to its own rules. And that is the crux of the matter. Some people have said, and I heard this on one of our programs yesterday, if this zoning issue is sorted out, if the zoning for the presidential candidate for the People's Democratic Party is zoned to the south, you won't see any of these divisions anymore. A lot of people that you're calling Wike's friends would generally be a part of the big party, and then we can all move on. What do you make of that? What's wrong with that?
Taylor, as long as PDP is fixated on zoning politics, they will never come out of this quagmire. Take it to the bank. Because this is exactly what these guys are holding on to achieve their inordinate plans of killing the PDP. I'm a PDP member for years, and I know what I'm saying.
What is so wrong with zoning it to the south? What should happen?
See, zoning,
is it just this Atiku matter?
Leave Atiku out of this. Leave Atiku. Have you seen Atiku talk? Have you seen Atiku? What have you heard Atiku say about PDP now? Is Atiku the one creating the problems now? Now, let me tell you, the governors met in Ibadan a few weeks ago. They came up with communique. This is a direct response to that. I think Wike is not comfortable, and he feels that, okay, if care is not taken, the zoning committee that was set up based on the recommendation of the Governors Forum may eventually zone to the north. That's why he came out saying all of this. So for me, I don't think, I think it's one of the biggest mistakes PDP will make is to go back on this zone. What in 2023? They said throw it open. Wike's people were the ones that did it and throw zoning open. Why are you now agitating on zoning now? Zoning has never been a problem of the PDP. They are the one making it look so. And this is the true position of things. So now look at the bad press they got from the meeting they held. So as far as I'm concerned, let them continue to do what they know how to do best. They want to destroy the party, no problem. No problem. I
still don't understand the nexus between this meeting and destroying the party. Maybe help me understand.
Because there are.
How does this destroy the party?
When you say this must be, you are not the party.
So you're not creating an avenue for communication.
You say it must zone. One of the biggest mistakes the party will do is to still dwell on it. Zoning should be headache of the ruling government, not PDP. It should be headache of the ruling government. This is opposition party. And I thank God for something. I thank God for the foresight of Atiku Abubakar, who has seen this long time ago. And they'll be saying it does not provide leadership. In 2023, he led voices to call for a broad-based and inclusive coalition. Because he understands that the mission to rescue this country cannot be done by any party, just a single party that has lost focus, direction, and ideology. So he called for all of them, and that's exactly what you see. The bigger picture these guys are not seeing is the fact that they think it's going to be about, the Nigerians have moved away from party politics. What they are looking for is something that will change their life. And that's exactly what Atiku and Co. and his other people are trying to do. Provide an alternative. Ideally, An opposition party must be able to provide strong alternative. Why must you say it must go to South? What is your intention? Now, let me, before I land on this. Now, whether PDP now zone to South, East, or even Jupiter, it's not going to change anything. Because even if that happens, it means that multiple parties will share the vote from the South. And you can guess what will happen from the North. I'll leave it at that. They should continue playing the game. We're watching them.
I don't know where the voters from Jupiter are going to come from.
I just said yes. So whatever they want to let them zoom, people are watching.
All right, but I want to be able to talk to you about that coalition. Okay. That coalition that Atiku Abubakar, I don't know if he's leading it, but I know he's a member of it.
He's a member of it. It's not about him.
So when we talk about the coalition,
yes,
what is it? Is it a PDP coalition? Is it a national coalition? What is this?
It is the People's Coalition.
What does it do?
It is a coalition that was formed out of the urgency to rescue this country, to engender unity and competence. These are the three things. And you can see, I'm very happy that the drivers of this thing understood the inherent problem of this country. And that's why they are providing solutions. Not just Atiku Abubakar. We have Peter Obi, we have Erufai, we have Tambuwa, we have Farid, and a number of them, all of them coming together, putting their ambition aside, because they understand the fact that if we must provide an alternative, Nigerians must see us differently. It's not about Atiku want to be president. Atiku is not asking to be crowned. Listen.
What is the alternative? Is the alternative PDP? I need to understand it, because we're here, we know. We've heard of coalitions before now. It's always so lofty. Is it a new political party? Is it a coalition that is going to collapse into the PDP? What is it? We know what it stands for. We've heard. Everybody has given us all the beautiful things that this coalition stands for. But how is it going to work?
My dear sister, the drivers of this coalition first understood the need, the basic reason or the purpose for doing this is to get the country back on, because the country is not faring well. Now, when you say coalition, it means that we have a number of elements, of components that are coming together to drive this. So what they are trying to do is to see how, because it's not possible, even if PDP were to be together, they don't have the capacity to dislodge the current APC. It's not possible. Okay. APC itself came to power through this means because they couldn't single-handedly defeat the ruling PDP as it were then. Okay. This is the reality. So what we are saying is that a lot of them will come, then they will come up with a platform. Just give them a few days, a platform that the coalition will run on. Because we cannot run an election if we don't have a party platform. And they are really working on that. 90% gone. They will let Nigerians know where they're going. What platform this coalition, all of these people, that special purpose vehicle that all of them will run on, like, that will give APC a run for their money.
So it's a special vehicle.
So PDP likes, let it join. If they don't like it, Buhari and Tinubu didn't do it because of party. They came together.
So it's a special purpose vehicle that whoever they pick
all the oppositions. Yes. That must be a political party.
Okay. So what if that party is not PDP?
It doesn't have to be PDP.
Okay.
For me, I've been an advocate of the fact that PDP is the largest opposition. It was meant to rally every other opposition. But they have failed to do that because of their own game plan. That they don't want. If a minister,
are you leaving the PDP? What is they?
Because I'm not part of the man. They are the ones that are leading us, and they are leading us very badly. Listen, look at this contradiction. The Minister of FCT, Minister Wike, said he came out openly, bluntly and without any remorse, that I'm going to work for the return of President Tinubu, leader of the opposition. Then you will converge a number of people and saying you still want the party back. Now, if you work for Tinubu and Tinubu eventually, God forbid, wins in 2027, where does that leave your own party? So this is the contradiction. If there is no genuineness of intention in all of this, so this is exactly why I am against all of these things. I don't have any problem with Wike personally, but this idea of his politics, no for me.
How do the PDP governors feel? Because you just said a few things here today. It's a special purpose vehicle. I don't like that word because it does make it look like political parties are just a means to an end, no actual ideology. If something is a special purpose vehicle, how is it supposed to create the ideologies and the... hold on.
Because I don't want to stress you.
And don't stress. I will
withdraw Social Purpose Vehicle.
Okay, you withdraw
Political party. Yes, I won't stress
so
you.
it's just be a political party?
It's a party, yes.
Okay.
I withdraw as SPV. So, please.
Now, when it comes to this coalition, where do the PDP governors stand on it? Because the last time we heard the PDP governors talking about this coalition, they said, we're not joining any... If you want to join the PDP, come and join us. But don't be telling us how you're doing a coalition and we're coming to join you. No, we are big enough. If you want to be a part of us, join the party. That was the last time we heard, and it was from Governor Shema Kinde. Where do they stand on this? Well, see, you've withdrawn the word special purpose vehicle. Where do they stand on this concept of a new political party, or maybe an old one, who knows, that would be able to carry all the ambitions of this coalition?
Well, unfortunately, the leadership of the party have not been responsible, because if they had been responsible, we won't be where we are today. When somebody of article standing made a call before the Supreme Court judgment, after the Supreme Court judgment, he did a press conference, and I said, guys, we need to provide leadership. We need to come together, and some people will sit in the corner and say that Atiku has not provided leadership. Somebody of his study will make a call and the party is not doing anything about it. They can't look at the document and say, how do we do this? They have not been responsible. It's only the governors that can tell us where they are in all of this. But I tell you, a lot of them are going to be stranded. Anyway, they know how to move to APC so that they can secure their seat. They can bring in those who want to bring successor can do it. Those who want to return can return. So it is left for them to tell Nigerians where they belong or they want to do. The thing is that Nigerians have moved ahead. It's not about party politics. Nigerians are, see, in 2027, and this I want to say this unequivocally, that 2027, and this is to the other members of this opposition that are in this coalition, especially Peter Obi and the supporters. 2027 should never be about battle of egos. It should be about convergence of strategies that will bring everybody together. If the idea is to sacrifice, it must be a shared sacrifice. And Atiku and Obi, Rufai, and all of these guys are working so tirelessly to see how we can salvage this thing. It's about national salvation. So all of us must realize this one. PDP has failed in that regard, APC has failed in that regard. Now let me tell you, there are this set of people that says APC has been a disaster. And there are these people with school of thought that PDP hasn't fared better at all. And there are people that believe they are same of the same. Then as somebody who is wise, who is thinking right, what do you need? Because you feel that your competition is not good at this time. What you need to do is to look for an alternative. And that is what Atiku, the visionary, has seen, and all the other patriots, all of them, have seen and said, no, we have to do this for our people. What do they want? Buy new jets or build new houses? Forget it. They are committed to rescuing this country, and they will rescue it by the grace of God.
What is going to happen to the PDP? The way you're talking.
I don't know.
Will you be in the PDP by 2027?
PDP should tell us. And if there's anything
Will you be in the PDP by 2027?
I'm still a member of PDP right now.
I said by 2027.
Let's wait till then. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. Unfortunately, we have an acting national chairman who is part of all of these scripts. Damagun is part of it. He will look back one day and carry that moral burden of driving PDP to the abyss. Because that's exactly what Damagun has done because of his selfish interest. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here. PDP shouldn't be here. It's painful to some of us who have given so much to this party. And that's why you see me talking like this painfully. All of these things, all they are doing is not for anybody, it's not for the party, it's for themselves. They are looking, you can see the gathering. They are looking for position, pegs, and personal interest.
In just 1 minute before we wrap up. In just 1 minute. Just your thoughts on the massive defections away from the People's Democratic Party, the governors that have left. Do you think this party will be able to survive till 2027?
You mean which of the party? PDP?
Yes, your party, Mr. Fabi. Your party. Your political party.
If there's anything I desire, is so much desire is for PDP to survive. Because PDP is an institution, but unfortunately, we have characters who have a different view, who feels it's just about them, not about the party members, not about Nigerians. It's quite painful. I don't know.
You don't think there's a solution?
With this grandstanding, with this grandstanding by some people that this must be, There's no party. There's no party anymore. There's no party. It's painful. Painfully, there's no party anymore.
Well, unfortunately, that's where we have to wrap it up. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Oladimeji Fabi, Director of Support Groups for PDP Presidential Campaign. Thank you very much for being with us on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you, Kela. It's always...
I understand that it is your uncle that we're going to be talking to next.
How did you know?
Yes, I know that Mr. Olayinka Balogun is your uncle.
A super compo. He was a great man in Nigerian police.
So that's our next conversation right here on Sunrise Daily. Please stay with us.
Thank you very much.
And straight back we come to Lagos to have a conversation on community policing, generally the entire spectrum of it. It's something that's been an issue for us over time. So what's the roadmap for effective policing? How do we curb what many Nigerians call police misbehavior? Every time people gather to register a protest or something, there's always the issue that a number of people will raise about the fact that, oh, there's a clampdown or this one and that one. Another one is going to happen tomorrow. We'll see how the police deals with that. That and a number of other issues we're about to discuss with Dr. Olayinka Balogun, who is a retired commissioner of police, and he's also a consultant on community policing and human rights violation with the Police Service Commission. Thanks for joining us this morning. When you look back to your service, your service years, what are the things that come to you, particularly when you compare your time in service and the way the police services are being run right now in various parts of the country?
Thank you very much. I think policing is policing. Is gazetted, is constitutionally recognized. And so, what policing was then is what policing is now. The difference are the operators, the characters, the inputs, the gadgets that are brought in. And that's why, from time to time, those who head the police at a particular time, they'll come up with what they see as problems, and they attempt to rectify them. And that's one of the things that I intend to mention this morning.
What are some of the things that you consider need to be urgently addressed in this policing by the people who will run it now, in your opinion?
Well, it's multidimensional. But the current Police Service Commission makeup, headed by DIG Hashim Argungu, MNI, has come to a conclusion that a particular area must be addressed, and that is issue of violation of human rights by the police in the course of doing their job. And it is the belief of the headship that this thing can be curbed. Some of them that are obvious can be brought in and corrected. And it comes out in so many areas. But the one that is of main concern to the Commission now is this issue of loss of money by the police organization from our statutory allocation. The government, the court, the people had a way of getting into where we keep this money through court order, through normal procedure. And that comes out when a policeman does something that violates the right of a citizen. The person would go to court. When he gets to court, he narrates his story. This policeman illegally detained me. He illegally forced me to cede my property to somebody else. And the court will say, no, the police has no right to do so. And while the procedure is going on, the facts will be brought in. If at the end of the day, the court discovers that the policeman has behaved illegally, then an award will be made. That award are invariably monetary. And so the court will say, pay this man 20 million for violating his rights, for detaining him illegally for 5, 6, 7, 8 days without taking him to court. And so 1 million naira here, 2 million naira here, 5 million naira here, that get out of police purse had gone a long way to bring the police down on its knees. And the government that gives this money is also monitoring the way this money is spent. If this money is spent on such frivolities that can be corrected, that something has to be done. So that's what the chairman of the Police Service Commission thinks. That's why they found my humble self to come in as a consultant on this area. And so what I've been doing, and what I will continue to do in the next few months or so, is to tell the policeman that inasmuch he has some rights, some powers, he must be very careful. He must consider the law. And so if he does something that brings out that problem, that now make the government to want to say, garnish their money, take from it, the commission is saying that policeman should be dealt with. And it's saying that from now on, if a policeman does that, and the police as an organization had to lose money, had to lose face, that policeman may be retired suddenly. His gratuity may be in trouble.
Does that not
his next promotion?
Yeah.
His next promotion may be jeopardized.
Does that also not suggest, sir, that there's a possibility that some of these policemen that you're talking about do not even know their rights? A good number of times, or they don't know their rights and they don't know their own limits. A good number of times, some policemen will want to jump into someone's car simply because you arrested the person, and the person, for whatever reason, you now feel, okay, you need to go in the fellow's vehicle. You're commandeering the citizen's car because you want to arrest the fellow. Is that right?
It is not right, and we didn't train them to do so.
So the policeman has no right to get into anyone's car?
There's no police college in the world, in Nigeria to be precise, that will teach a policeman to violate a citizen's rights. No, a policeman is a peaceman. Peace, P-E-A-C-E, a peaceman, a peacemaker. So if a policeman gets out of his way to misbehave, then the law will deal with him because he knows he's supposed to know. It is the other man, it is the citizen, and that's the second aspect of this program. That is, the citizen is now enjoying to know his rights. You must know your rights. You must know what a policeman can do and get out with it. If a policeman asks you to bring your phone, you want to chat it, tell him, no, sir. There's no such law. Your DPO, your commissioner, your chairman of police commission said you cannot search my phone unless you take me to the nearest police station. If you come to my house and you want to search my house, you must produce a search warrant. If myself and my wife are quarreling, you cannot take a child from me and give it to my wife. You ask us to go to court. If there is a problem between my siblings over our father's property, you cannot share it. You cannot share the property. You cannot allocate the land. You cannot measure it. So you push us to court. And that is the aspect that the civilian, the citizen must know. That is the second aspect segment of this program, that the citizen must know his rights.
Well, we'll come to the part of the citizen, but a quick discussion on an aspect that we have struggled with over time. Between the police and the Police Service Commission, there had been that back and forth about this is our right, this is our limits, we can do this, we cannot do this, and all of those things. What's the mediation? How is the mediation going on that?
I think it is just, in law, we have what we call mischief rule. Some people can be mischievous, even when you have seen the truth. You want to patch it for one reason or the other. The Police Service Commission is the father and mother of the Nigeria Police Force. I'm saying it here, and it is authoritatively.
You are a former policeman.
That is the law. I'm not a former policeman. I'm a retired commissioner of police. Okay. I'll remain a policeman for life.
Okay.
I remain a commissioner of police.
Some of your colleagues are going to come for you that you are saying the Police Service Commission is their father and their mother.
It is there. The law said I didn't say so. And so that's why everybody must. You don't just open your mouth and talk unless you have facts. If you're a lawyer, you want to talk about law, you must be talking about it. You must be using the Constitution. If you are a Muslim, you want to talk about Sharia, you must know the Quran. If you are a pastor and you want to talk about canon law, you must know the Bible. So when you want to say something, you must have authority. I'm a researcher. I'm a PhD holder. And so when you are doing a PhD, you research. When you say Lagos is so-so, your supervisor will tell you, yes, back it up. Lagos is what? Lagos in the southwest. What does that mean? So you go on and on until you prove it. So if any policeman takes up this matter, then it's ignorant. He should go and look at the Constitution. The law says the Police Service Commission will be responsible for recruitment, for enlistment, for training, for discipline. The only person the Police Service Commission cannot discipline is the IG.
So how does the Police Service Commission discipline the police when the operation of the police is under the police command?
The police command, how? There's nothing like police command that's different from police command. Police as a body is under the Police Service Commission. Is that not the name? Police Service Commission. It is out of ignorance that anybody will argue this thing.
Okay.
The Police Service Commission is the umbrella. And maybe I should just delve into a little history. When the white man was about to leave, some minorities, some stakeholders got a bit afraid. I said, police is very powerful. Don't leave this police in the hands of one man, Inspector General of Police, or the president, or the governor. Do something that will make our rights safe under this big man. So there was this willing commission of inquiry that was set up by the colonial master. Go and see how we can do something about this fear. They came up with the establishment of a police service commission.
Okay.
That will pour some water when the place is hot. That's the essence.
Okay. Oh, my colleague in Abuja, Kayla, has some questions for you as well. Go ahead, Kayla.
Indeed, Mr. Balogun, I want you to be able to get your thoughts on the behavior of the police as you see them right now. Of course, June 12th is tomorrow, and there are conversations around how there are going to be protests and whatnot. But, you know, one of the issues that we've seen over the years is the conduct of policemen, especially when it comes to people exercising their rights to protest. You're a consultant for them, at least right now. What are some of the things that the policemen or the police force, I like to call them the police service because they're not supposed to be a force on the Nigerian people. What are some of the things that they should be thinking about as June 12th comes around the corner? Well, it's just tomorrow. How are they supposed to conduct themselves when people who have the right to protest are on the streets?
It's a serious issue. The man, the citizen, has the right to protest. He has the right to move on the streets. The policeman has the right to protect even his own property. That man that is protesting, the policeman has the right to protect his son or his mother that may be involved in the burglary. And so there's a middle way. The citizen will have a right to protect, to move around quietly. The policeman will have a right to stand by and ensuring that there is sanity. Why the police organization, why we are always worried about this protest is that at the end of the day, the thing may get out of hand. There may be a lot of people who are just standing by, looking for a chaotic situation and then capitalize on it. If we are moving along the road, I was a student in university for many years, we move around. Why some people will be doing this aluta, continual singing? Some who are eyeing roadside bread sellers, supermarkets. They will go into those places with a view to committing havoc because they're already eyeing those things. They have already disengaged from the main objective. And that's why there's always that problem. It's not that the policeman wants to correct, because we are the same people. When we retire, are we not going back to the same society? We are protecting the society to have a sane society waiting for us when we retire. So we should not have any reason to quarrel. But where there is that line, we try to protect it.
Mr. Balogun, also, you know, and that's a very important point that you've raised there, because over the years, what we keep hearing is it could get out of hand. And we've seen protests get out of hand in this country. We've seen that. Is there a modus operandi to ensure that, you know, a protest has the propensity to do that? What's the police supposed to do in that particular situation, as opposed to how we've seen them handle it over the years, where it now feels like innocent people are caught in the crossfire? Meanwhile, the police are supposed to be focusing on people who have infiltrated a protest or tried to scuttle it. Is there a modus operandi for the police officer in this particular situation? And then I want to also speak to capacity building and manpower training and things like that for police officers who have to engage with citizens. Because what we're seeing with the police brutality in many parts of the country is the fact that many police officers probably don't understand that when you're interfacing with citizens, there's a different way you're supposed to do that as opposed to how you behave when you're interfacing with hostiles.
I think the police authorities over the years have tried to envisage this problem. They tried to foresee all these problems. But you know, the society is growing. Sophistication. The policeman is growing in his practice. The crime and the criminal are both growing too in their... So over the years, the authorities are making attempts. And if you look at the budgets, if you look at the progress, you know that these provisions have been progressive. If it is 10 naira last year, it won't be 10 naira this year. I know the enlistment too, the thing is getting bigger and bigger every day. That's not to say that we will be overwhelmed, no. We will continue to, the police authorities, they have continued to work on this thing. What this program is all about is this, that the policeman must by nature at times be excessive as a human being. And he may want to misbehave. And so there are ways to curb something. It won't be possible that everybody will be law-abiding. Every policeman cannot be law-abiding. Every citizen cannot be law-abiding. But the police authorities, the Police Service Commission, the IG, they have ways of hitching those policemen. Once they are caught, once they are reported, like this one that I was saying now, if you bring something that leads to garnish order and they take our money, the chairman is saying, we will deal with you as a person for bringing that calamity. Same thing on the side of the members of the public. We are saying that members of the public can also be excessive. But in doing so, they too should know their right. If you know your right, and a policeman is trampling on that right, you speak out. If that IPO cannot solve your problem, go to his boss. Go to the DPO. Some people are afraid to do so. Go to the commissioner of police. No, I don't have the time for that. No. You must have time for your right. Nobody will protect your right for you. You must protect it. And we are saying that if you have that courage to protect that right, the chairman, Police Service Commission, and the IG are saying that they will back you.
Well, Dr. Obalogun, we're going to have to bring you back because we're totally out of time right now. And we have barely scratched the surface. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Dr. Wike Obalogun is a retired Commissioner of Police, and he's also a consultant to the Police Service Commission on Community Policing and Human Rights Violation. We appreciate your time again. Well, that's the show this morning. Thank you for the privilege of being a part of yours. I'm Ayo Makinde.
And indeed, have a wonderful day ahead. Get ready for June 12th and all the festivities that will be around it tomorrow. I'm Kayla Magwa. Have a nice day.